Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. This is our regular Board of Supervisors meeting, Wednesday, April 15th. And if you are able, please join us, stand and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, roll call, please. Scarlett, we'll start with you.
Scarlett Cantley.
Burgess Hanson. Also have Mr. Rob Robinson joining by Zoom. And then we have Andrew Mall with Piper Sandler and Company, along with Melissa Atkinson, Heather Turnbull, and Jody Bach Davidson with Reuben Turnbull and Associates joining us on Zoom as well.
Welcome.
Jay Foy.
And I'm sorry, and Daniel Ray with Stormwater J.
Thank you.
Okay, Jay Foy again.
Patricia Farrell.
Elizabeth Lacomando.
Richard Vassalati. Michael Johnson.
Mary Viator.
Brian Phelan.
Kenny Lawrence. Jeff Sisolak.
Thank you, everyone. Just a quick reminder, as we know, please silence your cell phones. If you need to have conversation, please step outside. Please complete, the comment cards are in the back of the room now. Please get them completed before the agenda item comes up or before public comment. President's welcoming remarks are that, and if you could go to the district website, indiantrail.com, you can find a lot of information there. And you can also fill out comment cards online if you can't make the meeting. For anyone that is watching on Zoom or will watch later on YouTube, that's really good information to have if you want to share some whatever your concerns are. You can do that without actually having to come. And also, as a reminder, you don't have to wait for a meeting. You could always reach out to staff or any one of us if you need help on something or if you have any questions or concerns. So don't feel like you have to wait a month to do that. I'd also like to make a point of personal privilege and wish my husband a very happy 37th anniversary. So, as much as I'd like to be home, this is what we do, right? Service before self. So here I am, but I'm a little under the weather. So if need be, and I have to leave because of that, I don't want to be coughing in everybody's face or make anybody sick. So if I do have to, Supervisor Farrell will take over the meeting and I will join by Zoom. And we have a quorum here, so I will still be able to vote. So again, thank you very much for you guys being here, whoever's watching online, whoever will watch later. We want everybody in the community to be involved and know what's going on, and as we make decisions and create policy. It's very important. So thank you. Michael?
I'm good. Thank you.
Rich?
Well, happy anniversary. And it was mine too the other day. Not quite as many years as you.
Thank you.
I got
Happy anniversary.
17 under my belt with my my rock and my best friend.
Congratulations. My bodyguard, right?
Yes.
Patty?
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Just saying that we had an equestrian advisory meeting last week. We had a very nice turnout. We didn't have an empty room, which was very nice. We had quite a few people and there was a lot of involvement. So I appreciate the community and hope to see more people. Anybody willing to volunteer to be on the committee, that would be fantastic too. And there's some good ideas and some projects that they might be putting on there that I think they'll be coming for permitting soon. So it looks very positive. It was a very positive and great meeting. So
Excellent.
thanks to all that.
I look forward to it. And there is something I'd like to clear up about that because I keep seeing some comments how after the committee was formed, it was forced into sunshine. That was any committee under Indian Trail works as basically an arm, so to speak, of the district and are required to work under sunshine. And yes, it does complicate things just like it does for all of us sitting here. The only time they can talk is at a meeting, but it's very important. And I look forward to hearing what the committee has put together and bringing it forward, because we really haven't received anything as of yet. I'm seeing a lot of things that we've denied, things that the committee has wanted to do, and I don't recall denying anything that the committee has brought forward. So I just wanted to clear the air on that.
I was going to say, no, I think one of the main things they've been focusing on are some trails and some improvements there. And the other is getting sponsorship signs, people to sponsor trails and also the gates. So we're looking for that also. So those are, and they said they have quite a few people that would be interested. So
Excellent.
they're working very hard with what they are. And now that they've been expanded a little bit more, I think they're very excited about that. So not that just trails, it got a little mundane,
Right.
but now that they have a little more that they can work with, their people have reached out to have them involved. So it's very
Excellent.
exciting.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. On to agenda approval. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Yep, through the chair, if
Yeah.
I may. I'm not sure if we also noted that Ms. Argue hasn't
Oh,
used absence. I
okay.
apologize,
Yep.
because
No, it's okay.
we had a long list of people here and I forgot to do that.
That's fine.
But do have a request also from Ms. Argue that the board consider tabling. or
8.3.
postponing- Yeah, eight
Yeah,
point
I was
three.
going to ask for that.
But-
Yeah.
But staff was also, legal and administration was going to also ask that it be tabled because we still have not received input from all the board members, so. we'd
Okay,
like that.
and that's really important, you guys. So if you could all just take a couple of minutes throughout this week or the next couple of weeks so we could get this done next month. Just go through it and put your input. Obviously, staff can't share that with us, but I think the idea is to come to the meeting with, Supervisor Farrell suggested this, Supervisor Argue suggests that. And this way we can have all this together without spending a couple of hours discussing it. All of our input will already be there for the attorneys to put together. And I think that's really important. And that'll save us a lot of time, as well as money. And then the public could see whose idea was whose, and everything is out in the open that way. So if everybody could get with staff at some point and just go over that, because I think it's really important that everybody has input in that. This is, something that hasn't been done for quite some time. And, as we move into the future, it's important to update these things. I also know that one of the minutes isn't ready, Scarlett, 12:3. So we're gonna pull 12.3 off of consent. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to pull, add, or delete? No? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda without 8.3 and 12.3 at consent? Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Carrie,
So-
Carrie. Show the,
Yeah, we don't have our
We-
little.
No, there's a firewall issue with the new firewall.
just for
I
the-
know, right?
Who's going to
Yeah,
get first?
I know, but we can see it on the screen. Scarlett, the mothership is working, so,
That's good.
but just not ours. So do I have a second?
I motion.
Patty made the motion. Who's second? Okay,
Richard.
Richard second.
And that's with tabling 8.3 and 12.3 were removed.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 4-0. All right, presentations. We have a PBSO here. I don't,
No, we
No
have neither
PBSO.
PBSO nor
Okay.
PBC.
all right, so
Chief Vimero's on her way.
we don't have to change the motion then, right? Because we're removing 6.1? No, it's just a presentation, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Okay, and we can see Chief Romero when she comes in. All right, supervisor business, Richard, well, Michael, you start with you, I'm sorry. Anything new in the water world? There was a meeting, I got the notification from them like the same day. And I asked them, I said, please let us know in advance and stuff. The one about the lagoon, the Indian River, that one. Yeah, I got an email, came through from the district but they had only just sent it. And I was like, how can I get to Jupiter in an hour? So I responded to them, asking them to please email you and I both well in advance of that. So well in advance of the meeting.
Through the chair, was that South Florida Water?
South Florida Water Management. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's it. Richard?
Not too much. I'll have a little bit of some information on one of the agenda items later on the meeting. Just throughout my daily routines throughout the district, a few more folks that I've seen in the neighborhood said, hey, ITID is doing a great job. And just, talking with folks. And I did have a question. I noticed that there was a canal being worked on right on the north side of Orange by Avocado. Who's ever doing the dirt and the scraping, I mean, they got that thing in like whoever's doing it is doing a dang good job.
Yeah.
Who's ever working on that. So please let them know, just from driving by there like 10 times a day that I do. I keep looking over and who's ever working on that looks pretty sharp what they're doing. And not much since the last meeting,
I believe that was Laz Gonzalez and his crew.
Okay.
Because they do canal reclamation, so
Yeah.
make sure to pass that on to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good for right now. Thank you.
Talking about canals, I saw a post, somebody was saying that they must have had pipes going into the canal, which we know we're not supposed to do. They had pipes going into the canal feeding their sprinklers. They claim they weren't notified that when we closed it off and their pump burned out. So I don't have an address or anything, but I just wanted to bring that up and make sure. We've talked about notifications many, many times, and we're doing them. They may just not have seen it. I don't know. But I just want to stress that, as the crews are correcting these things, that people are at least get notified about it. That's all. We have new council members. They were sworn in Wellington and Loxahatchee Groves. So hopefully things will go smooth there. I know they're having some issues with home businesses, which are actually nurseries, arms of agriculture, and they've been cracking down on that. And it's kind of a shame. And I hope that they can resolve that, because what other area would you do agriculture in but in the Western communities? So hopefully they can get those issues resolved and find some sort of happy medium for those folks. And I also we have a very interesting update on Project Tango. And even though it's not directly here, it does affect us. And our commissioner has recused herself from the vote. I believe it was the attorney's recommendation, because it's a quasi judicial hearing, and she was not supposed to tell publicly to the news and to the residents that she was going to vote no. So now we have zero representation for District 6 on this matter. So that's very concerning. And I think everybody here in the Western community should be concerned about this, really the entire county, because this is going to affect a lot. And we see what's happening in other places. I know the Potomac is now contaminated. So I think everybody needs to just slow down. Yes, we need the data centers, but at what expense? And until some studies are done, I think they need to just slow it down a little bit and figure it out. And I think that's all I have. Louise, I don't know. Louise is better, so thank you. I did want to notice that today, so I appreciate that we're gonna be addressing this at some point as well. I know we've talked about doing it in the 640, so if that can be accomplished when we're getting ready to do that, that would be actually ideal, I think, because it is part of that area. But other than that, I am good. Thank you.
Just through the chair. When we talked the other day, I think you wanted to actually ask that be put on the next agenda for discussion.
Yeah, yeah.
For consideration to be included.
Yeah, so yeah, we have to figure out what we're going to include it in, because it's very dangerous. It's something needs to be done. And, the county is completely unreliable when it comes to 60th. So there's really no safe way out, as soon as it rains. So it's something that we have to deal with. And, we're not asking for a major, improvement of the roadway, just the ability to come out and grade it when vehicles are sliding all over the road and having to drive through a foot of water. It's not good and it's not safe. And being that we own that road, don't sit down because you're up. Hi. Hi, because we kind of skipped over you while we were waiting. So no, you're fine.
Nothing, because I gave the quarterly report last time, unless anybody has any questions about anything
Okay,
particular.
so I do actually, if you guys don't mind, I noticed we're seeing a lot more fires, and obviously because of the drought.
Yeah.
And is this like bonfires, backyard fires? Are we seeing a couple of house fires? That's concerning.
Yeah, we have had an increase in fires recently. The last one down the road, I suspect some kids were lighting something in the room because that's where it started. And two kids were trying to put it out with a hose instead of calling 911. So it was a small room and content bedroom fire, and that was just a block or so down the road. So obviously that has nothing to do with weather condition. It's just, and the other ones, we have had a lot more rain. They did, the drought index is much better and they did lift the burn ban. But, they're just different incidences, isolated incidences, not anything, related, but
Okay.
yeah.
And you guys have been saving a lot of animals, so I thank you
Yes,
for
we
that.
have. We got two
Of course, the
Frenchies
people
and two
too.
bunnies last week out of an apartment fire.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody have any questions?
And for those of you at home, that was Chief Amaro from Palm Beach County Fire Rescue who just walked in.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
you're here. Yes. We're like, who are they talking to? It's Chief Amaro.
Oh, they can't see? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're on camera, so,
All right.
but
Just listening.
make it official. Yeah, we'll make it official. Because you didn't announce yourself,
Please
so.
zoom out,
Announce it
please.
for you.
Anything?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right, regular agenda 8.1.
Actually,
Oh,
through the chair, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I didn't realize, because 8.2 should have been 8.1, with Reuben Turnbull, just because they're on.
So we can, we can,
And
we
one
need-
of them's actually working in DC, so they're still.
Okay.
doing-
Motion to move it?
yeah,
I'll make a motion to move 8.2 to 8.1.
Sorry.
that's okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye, and that passes. And go ahead with 8.2, please.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a request from staff to expand the scope of Reuben Turnbull. Currently, they mainly focus on state of Florida legislature and agencies, but when the board selected them 3 years ago, we also had the language in there to include federal lobbying. And now that we know that there's a potential for us to get federal funds through the Water Resource Development Act, and then also maybe direct legislative appropriation through other means for water projects, we feel that we'd like to move forward now with that service, and also renew their contract, because their contract would be up for renewal later this summer, or I think in September. But we just like to recommend that we move forward now and also include federal lobbying services, which would also be any agencies such as the U.S. Corps of Engineers, or even the Federal Aviation Administration, or EPA, things like that. And there also are other potential federal funds out there beyond just for water projects, for forestry projects, wetlands projects that we could possibly be eligible for.
Excellent.
And Miss Bach Davison or Miss Atkinson are on here. I believe Miss Turnbull had to go to another meeting, but so I think she's off of here now. But they can answer any questions, and the fee for everything is $10,500 per month.
Very good.
And just to remind the board, because I had talked about the Water Resource Development Act, forget which meeting it was, but that is a potential game changer for the M1 impoundment expansion, because we could potentially get $75 million to do the entire impoundment if we were to get into that process. And right now, Ms. Davidson can certainly talk a little bit more about that and some of the other funding availability in DC. But Congressman Mast is open to moving that forward. And then she's
Yeah, I
also talked
actually
to
spoke with him,
somebody
so.
that's on the legislative appropriations in the US House of Representatives, which is also a key part of that. So anyway, I'll let either Ms. Davidson or Ms. Atkinson give a brief summary of.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
The only thing I have, I tried last night to do my homework, make
Yeah.
sure I knew what was on the agenda. And I'm just even trying to pull it up on my phone now to see the packet and the agreements and whatnot. And I'm getting like this sign on, log on.
If you scroll down below, like if you go back,
Go
So I
back.
I get to this page. If I click on a link, I go to this page.
Yeah,
yeah,
don't,
you don't
just,
just click on it. It's already
if you go to agenda packet.
Yeah, I'm in the agenda
Right,
packet.
don't click on it, just keep scrolling, everything's there.
Okay,
Backups below.
Yes.
so just scroll.
Right.
Don't hit the links. Okay, usually I hit the links and it pulls everything up.
We used to do, we'd have to put the link to get it, but now
Okay.
you just scroll, everything is right there
Okay,
on one page.
thank you. I wish I realized this last night so I could have reviewed
Mr.
it
Hanson.
because I can't see it on my phone.
Mr. Hanson,
Mhm.
looking at, I see a fiscal impact where it says a $6,000 retainer per month.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned, which I
It's
see now,
10,500.
Oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
adding the federal work.
I got you.
So in other words, it
Okay.
used to be just Tallahassee, just state. So now we're adding all of those things that Mr. Hanson just mentioned, those opportunities, including that 75 million and everything else.
Yeah, I apologize. That is not what, we're having an issue, and this is the last month we're using Granicus because this does not include, it should be 10,500, and I'm not sure why that changed. Because it was in the original one that I did, because I personally.
And that's what we spoke about.
Yeah, and I know it's 10,500.
Right.
Because I negotiated that, because normally it's actually more than that.
Right.
Yeah, I think
but-
page 14, it's 55 crossed out down to 45 for the additional
Yeah,
coverage.
yeah, and that was the old one, so I'm not sure, if.
Well, hopefully the new system will be a little bit more
Yeah,
efficient.
because yeah. So anyway, it's 10,500 and it's for a 3-year term. With, I believe it was supposed to be 1 and 1 if neither party wanted to extinguish or terminate the contract. So I'm not sure why this one's on here. I don't know if legal changed something, but this is not. the
Mary?
contract that I.
Did you switch it or anything? We're trying to figure out why it doesn't match what. Frank?
Yeah, because I'm looking on, if you look on page 2 of 8, it's.
Turn your mic on, Frank.
Hold on.
Frank, turn your microphone on. Thank you.
Well, I'm sharing it because I'm looking at the live one and if you look under, it's page 2 of 8 of the new Second Amendment 2, which is what Frank and I had worked on. It has a compensation and price of 10,500 monthly fee retainer. And then it has the total contract not to exceed 3 years unless sooner terminated. So we actually we took the 1 and 1 out of this. So, yeah, yes, the agreement's correct, but the actual background is not, and I know that. So, but we were working out of two different software programs, so I apologize.
So this is the last month we're using the Granicus and we don't have to worry about this anymore. Good. Okay,
Yeah, that's why we're getting rid of
all right,
this issue.
fantastic. All right, well, thank you. And I want to thank Ruben Turnbull. Thank you for all your hard work and everything that you're doing. And Congressman Mast, I'm very excited about this. This is going to bring some much needed, you know, projects to the district that the taxpayers won't have to foot the bill for. So I'm very grateful for that. And well worth it. This is a great organization and great to work with. So thank you.
And then, did you want any information from them?
Nobody has any questions? I mean, I think you
Unless
and I
they have
and
something
they have,
they want to say.
yeah, do you?
No, do they?
Oh,
Miss Davidson or Miss Agason, do you have anything to say?
I just wanted to quickly say thank you very, very much. And I apologize. I know Heather has been trying to get back in, but she's unable to. But on behalf of our entire firm, we want to thank you all for the opportunity and look forward to continuing our working relationship together and are excited about the opportunities. But truly just wanted to say thank you very, very much.
Just for the record, that was Melissa Agason, because it did not.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. Sorry.
that's okay.
I'm Melissa
Thank you,
Atkinson with
Melissa.
Ruben Turnbull. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody.
Madam President. I think I understand. There's two versions of the contract in here. One is the new contract, and one is the old contract that we're amending. The old contract has a 4,500 scratched out. That's what was in the old contract. The new contract is the monthly compensation retainer is 10,500. That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's what
So
I, yeah.
what might have been confusing is
And,
that
and then on the first
There-
page, it says 6,000.
it went through, it was amended twice. Right, so it was added and now it's so it's gone up from 45 to 6 to 10.5. And attached as exhibits are the prior contracts,
Yeah.
but they're not identified as separate exhibits clearly. So if you're just reading through, that's kind of
It makes it confusing,
could
so,
be confusing.
yeah,
Hopefully, the next-
especially for the public. So if we could clarify that better, because then the public doesn't understand, you know, we put that in there for everybody to see, but if we make it, you know, we know what's going on because we've had these conversations, but the public doesn't, so.
we're learning the limitations or the issues
Of the
that need to be
system.
addressed as part of
Yeah.
this new system, which is there should be a section that says in the staff report, here's the body of the staff report, here are the exhibits. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, you know, and so you can actually identify where the attachments are, essentially the staff report.
Thank you. All right.
When does the contract go into
Yeah.
effect? Is it like immediate?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yes, because part of this, part of the, process for, federal services, they have to register, but the only way they can register is with showing an agreement that they actually represent us as your, governmental consultant.
How long does it take to register?
Probably, I mean, that's a question probably for, Miss Davidson, but I think
Did she
she's probably
sign up?
still online, but I think it's pretty quickly.
Okay.
So.
I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
Carrie? Should
second.
I see the motion?
Do we have any public comment on 8.2? Yeah,
Yeah.
Nothing.
okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Patty? Well, you made the motion, so. It's already, the number was always clarified. And then all we did was switch the order. We didn't change the number.
I think he's.
Which number is it?
Yeah.
8-2. Yeah, that's what we're voting on. Okay, but you should have put in the card, but
Sir, if you're comfortable with mine, so we can record information.
is there a card for a different number?
I believe he's saying that the background had the $6,000, which was an increase, which was not what was put in there originally. It was the 10,005. And it looks like it was changed to 6,000, which was the increase from 4,500 to 10,005. Well, I think he wants to talk about the discrepancy in the 10,005.
Okay. Yeah, just do me a favor and come on up, but we already called the vote. So just fill out a comment card for it when you're done, please.
All right, well, my name is Rudolph Tinker. I live here in 16644 66 Court North, Loxahatchee, Florida. My question is on what, I guess, to make a big jump like that from 4,000 or 4,500 to 10,500 just on consultancy, is there any guarantees? Are they giving you any guarantees? And I think I overheard the contracts for 3 years. But is there any guarantees for what they're gonna be doing or any deliverables? And can you pull out of the contract if you don't get anything in the first 6 months or the first 12 months? Because the jump from 4,500 to 10,500, that's a big increase. It's more than 100% increase. I'm more than curious, what was did something drastic pop up that they demanded much more money than before? So that's my question.
Thank you. And as I mentioned, a few minutes ago, yes, we moved on to doing federal appropriations, which are, looking at $75 million just for one project. I will say that Reuben Turnbull got us our first appropriation ever last year. So we know there are proven results. They were previously working on a state level. Now we've added federal level where we're looking at the potential of bringing back $100 million to the community in taxes. So that would be the reason why. And of course, any consultant, there's no guarantee, but we've got proven results, which is more important than anything.
Who did you? The last motion, who made the motion? Who seconded?
Supervisor Farrell made the motion, Supervisor Johnson second, and we all approved it.
Perfect, thank you.
And if I may, just not to belabor this issue, but the other important aspect of this is every single landowner or business owner in this boundary, ITID boundary, I guarantee you they pay federal taxes. And we do not
Get some of that
hardly
money
see
back.
any return
Right.
in this area because
None.
the only one that would have done it would be the county.
Right,
And it's only for county roads.
that's right. Thank you for adding that. All right, 8.1, athletic amenities improvements. Who's taking this?
So just quickly while they're prepping, so this is some different motions that are involved in this and this spans a few different projects. So the first one is the one that we have budgeted for this current fiscal year, which is the Acreage Community Park North Athletic Campus lights. The existing lighting system there is approximately over 25 years old. Those particular lights have a lifespan of approximately 20 years. So Mr. Lawrence and his team have done a good job of making the life of those go beyond what they should. However, we're at the point where it's now wiring control boxes and replacing those bulbs make no sense. So so as part of this year's fiscal budget recommendation, we did ask that we update those to LEDs, which also saves your power bill. And also, and Mr. Lawrence can get into more of the warranty and all that because it's much more in our favor. Second part of this was something that was requested a couple meetings ago, dealing with the replacement of the basketball and tennis courts at Temple. And then, so while we're doing this, we asked the board if we could also look at Sycamore Park and just do them all in one swoop and see what type of financial interest rates we can get rather than continually increasing, having these large park assessment increases to do them on an operating budget year. So we have Mr. Mall here, and at the last board meeting, you went ahead and approved to enter into agreement for them to work on this. So tonight, part of this will involve giving Mr. Mall and his firm the ability to go out to different banks to do basically an invitation to bid or quote on the best financing and lowest rates. So with that, I'll let Mr. Lawrence and Mr. Mall still online too.
Thank you.
Could I just supplement what
Yeah.
Barry just said?
Yeah.
There are a number of actions that the board is being requested to take tonight that are related to two issues. One has to do with the financing of these park improvements, and the other has to do with authorizing or directing contracts or solicitations for contracts for the 3 parks. So so there are 5 recommended motions, but they're really related to these 2 components. One is the financing of the improvements, and the other is proceeding with initially with 1 contract because they're ready to go, and then authorizing solicitation of contractors for the other 2 parks. And the park that the district is ready to go with is the lights at Acres Community Park North. But also just to reiterate that none of the projects will go forward until the funding is available and in hand. But we can authorize, because we're relying on using a piggyback contract for Acres Community Park North lights. And the district has had a relationship with Musco for its lighting in the past, and which is still active as a piggyback. And so this would be like a new piggyback for a different park, but ready to go, but no direction to initiate any action can begin until the funds are available.
And that will come back to us when it is for us to approve it and to take action at that time. Right now, all we're saying is, yes, go out and see what's out there.
Well, no, we're authorized for the financing. Yes,
The financing, right?
yes, the financing will have to come back for a board. And
Right.
we're entering into debt, public debt.
Right.
So that will come back. And also, well, related to that, one of the actions that's related to, so basically you're confirming the Piper Sandler to be your financial advisor for this transaction for an amount not to exceed 3 million. And then in addition, because of IRS requirements, in order for the district to be reimbursed out of the proceeds for certain upfront costs the district has to incur, there's a resolution that has to be adopted. And that resolution is one of the actions that's on tonight's agenda. So that's the financing package. And then there's the contractual package, of which there are 2 pieces. One is the district can authorize an execution of a contract with Musco Sports Lighting, which will not actually proceed until the funds are available, but the district's not ready to proceed with contracts for the 2 other parks So the district will be soliciting through a bid process, basically, for contractors for the other two. Correct.
5 motions.
Yes, and those are on, I don't know what page they're on in your book, but yes, they're under this, under their staff recommendations.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kenny.
So we did decide to go with Musco for the lighting. The prices were right competitive with everybody else. The reason we stayed with them is they offered a 25-year warranty for these lights. That includes not having to replace them each year or even twice a year like we've been doing. So it covers all of that. It has a lightning detection system that's going to be in the new wiring that they're going to put. That's going to basically, if lightning hit the pole and one of the wires got shorted out, it would send a signal to their system warning them of that fault, and then they would be able to shut that pole down and warn us about it. That's something that they would end up covering. The only thing that they wouldn't be responsible for would be extreme weather conditions. So something like a hurricane coming like that, we would have to cover those costs, but you shouldn't have to replace the lights or anything for at least 25 years, and that should be a big cost savings there. They're going to replace all the interior wiring of it, the LEDs. Basically, the only thing that's going to exist is the poles and then the hard wiring for the actual power that goes to the bottom of it. The rest of it's going to be brand new, right? From the controllers to the app and everything that we use. As far as Temple and Sycamore, we did meet with the contractor out there to get a more accurate quote. The quote was basically for a complete rip out and then install of asphalt and fencing, and that is included in there for both the tennis and basketball courts to protect those areas. So it's for a complete package on that. And we did leave room in there for contingency in case there is some
I saw,
unforeseen
yeah.
issues.
Because that happens a lot.
Yeah, between material prices possibly rising, or once we got it, if there's something happening under there that we can't see, it
Right.
would help cover that.
Good. Thank you for
And if
doing that.
anything is in addition to, we could potentially use it for a playground.
Mhm.
Did you find out, because I think I read somewhere where we didn't think we'd have to rip out the whole thing, that maybe just a portion, like
We did, well, this particular quote is for a complete rip out.
complete rip out, okay,
Yes.
not just skimming and leaving any of it, okay.
Yeah, because what we're running into is none of the companies are actually gonna warranty what would end up happening. This is my fear a couple of years ago when we talked about it originally, for the district to just go in there and scarify it down, flatten it out, maybe use an epoxy and kind of just seal it for now. I didn't think it would last more than a couple of years internally, and it'd be a waste of $200,000 there, and the same thing from these other companies.
And
So
what's the warranty that they're giving us?
this one, I believe it was 7 years, but I'd have to go back and check.
Okay.
But actually, you're going to bid on this anyway, so this isn't. This
Right,
isn't-
it could, right.
It would change.
And again, that's gonna come back. We're not approving that. We're just approving for it to go out to bid.
Correct.
We're not approving anything being done yet.
Correct.
I just want to
Musco-
clarify that for
I
everybody
did speak,
listening.
I did speak to Musco and they are aware that they couldn't do anything until the notice proceedings. on
Okay.
their hands.
I think people will be really happy that we're finally moving forward on these courts and the lights. Uh, Excellent. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Has there been any discussion with Musco and when they replace the LED lights as far as how it would affect if we have any leagues going on? For instance, let's say this is during adult softball, hey, we're ready to go, or acreage flag football. And would they be able to, let's say they change out a couple lights and then, it's game night, right? And we got some of the old lights, some of the new lights, would they be able to run them? Or is it just going to be completely shut off and everything shut down until the project's done?
We actually did speak about that because that was one of my concerns,
Okay.
our concerns in the beginning, and what they are able to leave them active with the new
Okay.
handle during this change.
That sounds good.
They're basically planning on doing 1 or 2 a day and then leaving the rest of it still active. So you're never really going to know that they're even out there. They'll get their part done. They'll be done before the league would even be out there to practice. So it shouldn't interact with anybody.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so We've got some motions to make. Oh, where'd they go? Nope, we need that back on the screen. Thank you.
It's the motions that are on the screen.
Yeah. So we have motion one to authorize Piper Sandler and Company to serve as the district financial advisor to obtain the lowest quote and best financing terms in an amount not to exceed $3 million to, one, fund the purchase and installation of sports LED lighting facilities at ACP North Athletic Campus. Two, replace and install the tennis, pickleball, and basketball courts at Temple Park. And three, replace and install the basketball courts at Sycamore Park. That's one. And just so everybody knows, I don't think we touched on this. Temple will be done, and once completed, then we would move on to Sycamore. We're not going to do them simultaneously.
I'll make the motion on number one.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have a public comment? No public comment. All right, all in favor of 8.1, motion one as read?
Aye.
Okay, see that passes.
You want me to read them? So-
Oh, that would be amazing, because the more I talk, the more I cough. Thank you.
If I'm gonna read it though, I just need it a little bigger.
So you need.
Yeah, so we can
Please.
move move on.
Yeah.
Better.
Yes, thank you. Didn't bring my glasses. Number two, approve resolution 2026-004, required by US IRS regulations, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of the Indian Trail Improvement District expressing the district's intent to reimburse certain original expenditures with the proceeds of a tax-exempt debt financing bond notes of the district and providing an effective date. Can we get a motion?
Motion.
Made by Michael. You have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0. Thank you.
Number three.
Number three.
Waive formal competitive solicitation pursuant to district purchasing policy. Section 5.5.2 piggyback purchases to obtain contracting services to replace and install LED lighting at ACP North Athletic Campus. I'll make the motion.
Second,
Second.
Michael. Public comment? None? Call the vote?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? 4-0. All right, number four, please. Is there, Scarlett, let me just stop her. Is there any public comment for 4 and 5? Okay.
Okay,
save
so we
my-
can just keep going. Number four, enter into a piggyback contract with Musco Sports Lighting, Inc. for construction services to replace and install LED field lighting at ACP North Athletic Campus in the amount of $1,361,800, subject to legal and administrative review and receipt of sufficient funds. Can we get a motion?
We have a motion.
Motion.
Michael, second.
Second.
Richard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Passes 4-0.
Number five, authorize competitive solicitation of or piggyback contracts for construction services to replace and install tennis or pickleball and basketball courts at Temple Park, and to replace and install tennis, pickleball, and basketball courts at Sycamore Park, subject to legal and administrative review and receipt of sufficient funds.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Michael, so Patty, you want a second?
Awesome.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, passes 4-0. Fantastic, thank you. Let's get these parks done.
Amen. So once we get, oh, well, never mind.
Okay, 8.3 was tabled. Let's go into agenda item number 9, please. Do we have any intergovernmental updates?
I just quickly, so, in Tallahassee, they still have not had confirmation of when they want to discuss the budget. However, our appropriation request for the M0 canal, West Canal spoil mound mitigation is still funded in both the House and Senate side. And we're in standby with the governor's office. Once it, or if it does get approved through the House and Senate, then we'll focus on the governor's office like we did last year to try to secure no veto on our appropriation.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no date for them to go back yet now.
No, no.
No budget.
Yeah, and as far as any others, there's really not been a lot moving on, and you've already talked about the Project Tango, so
Yeah.
I don't need to repeat that.
Thank you. All right, public input. We have any cards for item 10, Scarlett? No cards? Okay, fantastic. Number 11, facilities, parks and recreation agenda. Mr. Lawrence?
So the first one's just some minor parks policy updates. For this one, we added in the administration building as a potential area for mostly nonprofits to use this as a rental location. It wasn't in policy, so we wouldn't be able to actually do anything with that. It would require board approval, so that whoever puts in a permit, it would have to go to the board for approval to use this building. It wouldn't be necessarily on a regular, like somebody just wanting to use it because of what's happening in this building. It'd be like what the AL and the ALA was using it. The other item that we added in there was the percentage rate, the 70-30 split. This will give us the ability to kind of work with some of the groups that are renting, like Hamlin House, like the Wellness Wednesday. Instead of charging them a flat rate, we'll be able to do like a 70-30 and run that through our recreation system, which will actually work for them and for us, because it's hard to. It can be difficult for them because the fee may be a little more than what they're actually collecting if they only have 2 or 3 people show up, so it could actually help them build their businesses. So, that's basically it for the policy.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Richard? Michael, no. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve those updates?
Motioned.
I'll second.
Any public comment on this, Scarlett?
No, not on this.
Not on this one, okay. All right, all in favor?
No.
Michael?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, passes 4-0.
Who was the second?
Oh, I'm sorry, Patty. Oh, I had Michael and then you. Okay. Michael first, Patty second. I know, I write the initials, sometimes they get mixed up. That's okay. All right, 11.2, Loxahat.
Through the
Oh.
chair, sorry, Mr. Tinker did put in a card for the public comment.
Oh, okay, we could go back to that.
Was confused.
That's okay, no worries. That's absolutely fine.
Rudolph Tinker again, 66 Court North, Loxahatchee. I got a major question. About, I think 2 weeks ago, the road crew was on, I think it was on Banyan and Seminole, paving some streets off of, I think on the east side. And I was keeping my fingers crossed that they would cross the street on the other side of Seminole Pratt and do 67 and 68, which they've done 68 and 69. So I'm just trying to grasp and get some understanding of the logistical, in my head, a nightmare. If you're so close to one street, why the crews keep hopping around, loading up all their equipment, jumping around the town, and just, they'll be right next to a street that can use the milling or whatever you guys put down. Why are they moving around sporadically like that? I'm more than curious, because I've been keeping my fingers crossed, hoping, because on, Seminole and Banyan, you had Tangerine and then 66 is the next street. Banyan is a very busy road. There's always accidents on Banyan. And they're saying they were doing the more important roads first. I'm just trying to figure out, when are they gonna do 66 and Banyan, and why are they jumping around if they're so close to one street, because as a business owner in construction, it takes a lot of money to move equipment around. When you're so close to another street that can use the milling or the paving or whatever you're doing, what's the rationale behind jumping around?
Thank you.
Through the chair, we did have one submission electronically. And it was a written only.
Okay. Please read it. And then I have a comment to follow up on Mr. Tinker's question.
This is from Matthew Alfredson. He said the road section of Orange Grove that spans between Royal Palm Beach Boulevard and the State Road 7 extension has a substantially higher traffic volume than when it was first designated for its tax allocation, and it needs to be reconsidered for more money to help more property maintain or repave the entirety of this section. The integrity of this portion of road is severely compromised, and for the amount of traffic that uses this portion of the road daily, it needs to be reconsidered for a larger budget.
Thank you. And we have discussed that in previous meetings, so we are aware. Mr. Franson, if you're listening, thank you. I know sometimes people petition out of doing millings, but I've been questioned a couple of times off of Mandarin as we were coming north from 60th, we stopped and didn't do 68th and 69th. And I've had some questions from some residents that, especially on 69th on the west side of Mandarin, that it seems the majority of them wanted it done, but yet we stopped shy and just left those two roads. So to me, in my mind too, it didn't make any sense. So I just wanted to bring that up. But I know there are reasons why, but it does make sense that if we're there, but it's not always the case. So there are reasons.
Yeah, and as we explained during the last meeting, we have a lot of units that pay into that, so we have to spread our resources to try to hit different sections of the almost 45 plus square miles of
Right.
actual residential area, and that's
And then-
why we move around.
Right.
And
And then we've got petitioned roads that people have put petitions in for, we tell them that they will be done in that fiscal year. So it's critical we do that. So sometimes we do have to move around. Okay. Any other public comment before we move on that we might have missed? Okay, just want to make sure. All right, so 11.2. Loxahatchee Legends Football, motion to approve Loxahatchee Legends Football permit request to host their practices at ACP, subject to availability, staff, legal review, or a motion to deny. Do we have a motion? Okay. Is this one that you have there? Okay.
It's just a youth flag football game.
Yeah, I spoke to the coach. He actually, they're currently using his backyard as a place and they're just looking for a location. They're not necessarily ACP, they just put in that request. They could use north, south, they could use Hawthorne. They're just.
So they're
looking
open
for
to
a place.
anything and whenever you can fit them in, so you don't see any
Yeah,
issues on your side.
yeah. And he wasn't listed as a not-for-profit, which is why we have the fee structure in here.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
And that's to approve, by the way.
Oh, God, yeah, very good. Okay, do we have any cards?
It's just trying to carry them. No,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes 4-0.
Who was the second one?
Richard. All right, 11.3. Corsaria Nieves to approve the permit request to host her self-makeup workshop event, subject to staff legal review, or a motion to deny. Where is this, Hamlin?
Yes, it'd be at Hamlin House, and this is one of those situations where I think the 70-30 split would actually be official.
Right,
And that's what I'd recommend in this position.
perfect.
I'll make the motion on that.
Okay, a second.
Second.
Michael, do we have any public comment? No, all in favor? Richard,
No, so, aye.
passes 4-0. Excuse me. 11.4, Seminole Ridge High School Senior Class Field Day. Motion to approve Seminole Ridge High School's permit request to host their senior class field day, subject to availability, staff, and legal review, or a motion to deny the same.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Michael? Any public comment? None? Okay, all in favor?
I got one comment real
Oh,
quick.
sure.
Sure. So this was brought to my attention at SAC meeting at Seminole Ridge High School by the student government, and got them in touch with Mr. Lawrence. So thank you for this. They're very excited about this, and happy that we can make this happen for them.
I'm gonna jump in on that. I feel like they did this many years ago. My son's senior class back in 2010.
They did.
They
do it
did it.
The first 3-4 years I was here,
Mhm.
and then yeah, they've done it a few times.
Yeah, my son had a blast, so it's exciting. So glad they can use it.
Very nice.
Okay, all right, it passed 4-0. 11.5. Oh, Michael. Infrastructure surtax funding agreement, a motion approving the second amendment of the infrastructure surtax funding agreement between Palm Beach County and Indian Trail Improvement District, requesting an extension for time for 18 months to July 31st, 2027, and a revision of construction scope for ACP South Expansion Phase 2, subject to staff and legal review, and authorizing the president to sign. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, do we have any cards, Scarlett? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Patty? Okay, passes 4-0. All right, on to consent. We've removed 12.3. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 12.3?
Make the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. And no cards, I presume, on consent, so call the vote. Everyone in favor? Michael?
Aye.
Okay, see that passes 4-0. All right, so reports, I need a motion to receive and file the reports 14.1 through 14.9, please.
Everything in between.
What? Oh, staff presentation.
I was like, wait a
I'm
minute.
so sorry.
I'm like,
Wow,
what?
I'm sorry, I don't feel
To
good.
get out of
No,
here.
I do, right? I said, you're all tired of hearing me cough, I'm sure. I am so sorry. Yeah, staff presentations, forgive me. Yeah.
Just quickly, yeah,
That's good.
yeah, we, we're just awaiting the, arrival of the culvert pipe for 130th
Yeah.
Trail between 77th and 78th. Soon as we have that, it'll take us approximately 4 to 5 business days, because we will work them overtime to get that completed. I did share the GPS location as well as the general location to public safety and county engineering, and also to the county emergency management in case we were to have something really bad happen out here. They're aware of that for general purposes. So we will be moving on that one quickly. And then Mr. Lawrence just has 2 quick updates on Coconut Park Pier and that project, and then also on the Kidscape project, because that will actually start next Monday and be done probably by Wednesday of next week. But
That's
go
what we're
ahead.
doing the grants.
So real quickly with Coconut, I'll do part of it with the pier, and then Jeff can kind of go into what our team's done out there. We did do an inspection the other day before, because they put in the request that everything was done. They wanted final payment. During the inspection, I did find a lot of deficiencies. So we brought in Jay's team and the engineers, and they confirmed that some of these deficiencies are something that need to be addressed. The contractor was out there last Friday with our team, and they agreed to make these adjustments and corrections. So we should have sometime this evening, if not tomorrow, what those deficiencies are that they're going to actually have to address before final payment can be released. But some of these concerns that we found are, I'll try to explain it the best I can. The piling, the ledgers that sit on the pilings, there's a space between it. They don't sit right on the piling. They're actually attached just to the bolts. That was one of the concerns. More than 70% of the pilings out on the observation deck are done that way, both on the inside and outside. So we actually went underneath the pier to see all this. There's some connector issues. There's some protruding bolts that could be issues as well. And then there's some blocking issues that weren't even bolted in. So,
And by the way, this was with county inspections, so we're not gonna, we'll be much more involved in the next one because clearly county inspections missed engineering.
Please do.
plan.
Yeah, please do.
and then I'll leave, Jeff can kind of talk about some of the projects that the teams.
Yes, we are currently finishing up the fencing in the front of the park. We have installed new exercise equipment. We have 7 new pieces out there. We've gone through the majority of the irrigation. The sidewalk was completed yesterday. So we still have to go back through some of the irrigation now that that's happened and redo that. As you know, all the trees were installed and we have most of the sod throughout the park has been replaced. We still have some of that needs to be done. Couple of trash cans and a couple of benches to put up and the park will be brand new.
And then as you see on the photos, I do have a lot of photos that I took when we were down there and I did send that to the team. This is what I was talking about with the pilings. All the weight is basically sitting on those bolts and some of those bolts aren't even tight. They're hand tight. As far as
And that
get,
passed inspection.
the county
the
hasn't
county.
been out there yet.
Oh, okay.
They haven't, Nikki hasn't put out the request to close this out until they've got the corrections done on our side.
Okay, good.
As far as Kitscape goes, their deadline's Wednesday. I spoke to Wes before this meeting. They're supposed to be out either Monday or Tuesday, and they're saying it's a 1-day turnaround for that. But we want to bring our team out there to thoroughly clean that playground before they actually put the new stuff in. So we're going to close down Kitscape for a couple days to do this. And then after that, it should buy us a few years. Then it'll be a pretty nice park again.
Let's make sure we get something out on social media that we're closing the park, please.
We're
Stole it
planning.
right out of my
Rebecca,
mouth.
if you're listening.
I don't know who caught this, but whoever it was, thank you for doing your due diligence. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And is the county aware of this? Has it been brought to their attention that they passed something that I guess is unsafe?
The county hasn't been out there yet.
Oh, they haven't been out there yet?
No,
Okay.
not unless they called something that wasn't important to us, but Nikki's gonna hold off on that final inspection as far as I know
Okay.
until it's done.
This was not something our team did. This was, we hired this out correctly.
Yes,
And we did ours a year and a half ago,
I
right?
could, I
Yeah.
could show you comparables and they're not even close.
Again, thank you very much for doing such a great job. We appreciate you.
Anything else?
Yeah, just a scan that has a quick update on the M0.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, we have the new contract signed with the new vendor, so they're on schedule. And there's, we're scheduling a pre-construction meeting next week with engineering and the construct and the vendor. So that is on schedule.
Excellent. Thank you.
And then just one last thing, and we're done from my standpoint. The M0 Canal levee, which was being done by South Florida Water Management, but at our insistence, and we basically board staff spearheaded to make that happen for the residents, even though most of it's on their property. It is now complete. So and probably at the May 20th or I forget 22nd meeting or the June meeting, we will have to come back with an ILA because part of this levee was built on our property. And we'll have to mow and maintain it. And it's actually the same existing ILA that we had since 2014. However, it's changed now, so we have to update the ILA, but it'll be the same level of maintenance.
Excellent. And once again, I want to thank everybody that was involved in getting that and securing that funding. I know Supervisor Argue was instrumental, and Sluggett was tremendous, and our former commissioner that really got that pushed through and made that happen for us. And that really provides a lot of protection for everybody. So it was very crucial that that got done. I know that was supposed to be done sooner, but they ran into Milton and that delayed everything, but now it's done. And I look forward to the ribbon cutting. Thank you. Okay, 13.1.
I think Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thing. Right now. Oh, 13. Oh, okay.
13.1.
13.
13.1 is the RFPs and everything.
Okay, 13.1.
Yeah, there is nothing to report on.
Okay, very good. So 13.2, you are up, Jay. You knew it.
God is sending me a message that
That's
be
no-
quick because the sun's hitting me right in the
Yeah.
face now. Can we get up? Okay. I will make this quick. Questions keep coming back as to why are we only allowed so much drainage in the M1 basin? The M2 gets 1 to 2 inches per day, and the Santa Rosa Groves gets 1 inch per day when they get the pump in. And the M1 basin gets, according to how you calculate it, between 1/4 of an inch per day and 3/8 of an inch per day allowable on peak. The first slide shows you the drainage area of the M1 basin. Second slide. Digging through the permits, this is how the 274 CFS was derived. You saw the previous slide where all the area that we drain is. We get a credit for the, okay, the 3 areas shown in red on this slide. If you add those up, you get 274 CFS. For some reason, well, we get allowable discharge, anything that goes into the L8 basin, and the center bigger area is the western part of the M1 basin. They took the line that supposedly goes to L8 right down State Seminole Pratt Whitney Road, but missed the curve, and it goes to the M Canal. So that is the area that we get. If Betty were here, she would ask me, why does Bay Hill get added in when none of the areas east of there get added in? It was done. Different staff review things at different times. South Florida Water Management District allowed that 42 CFS to come through to L8. It had never been in that basin, but it was done. I can't explain why. The arrow green says that in addition to that 274, unless we are told specifically by South Florida, we do get an additional 200 CFS, they have to contact us. It's not a conditional discharge based on stage. We get it unless they tell us we can't have it. That was the recent change in 2018. Go to the next slide. This is the area in blue that's missing. We do not get any discharge from these areas. If you add all those areas up, the typical discharge at 1 inch per day would be over 1,000 CFS. That's 1,020 CFS. But we do not get allowable discharge on peak for those areas. We do get it off peak when stages in Royal Palm Beach and the C-51 canal are not high. Go to the next page. As you all know, we will shortly adding the 640, that's the area in green, the new impoundment expansion. And with that, we will get an additional 27 cubic feet per second for the 1 square mile. So that's an addition. And the last slide shows you the total area and how it's broken up, and it gives you the different scenarios. One thing I'll mention is the Southeast Corbett should have received, what is that number, around 174 CFFs, if I can read it on that small screen. There is a benefit to Indian Trail for the C18 reservoir in that reservoir, which was the Mecca property, will be taking some of that southeast Corbett discharge, and it will reduce the demand of that water coming into us. And if you had any questions on that, I'll be glad to answer them, but that's the explanation of why we have 274.
What do we have to do to increase it? I mean,
The last time we asked for an increase for Vintage Oaks, the district refused. We had negotiated with South Florida Water Management District 1100 CFS to discharge when the L8 reservoir was part of the North County plan. And without going through the entire history, the elected officials at Water Management District, the Corps and EPA decided that it was better to settle the legal suit on the Everglades and turn the L8 reservoir into L8 flow equalization basin. In other words, they take the water and put it in that L8 area, the big deep pits, to hold it for it to go through the stormwater treatment area that what's it called? STA1 East, so it can go through and get treated for water quality rather than to honor the commitments that they had made in the North County plan. So we keep pushing to get more. We do have a lot more. As I said, we get close to the 1100 when stages in C51 and Royal Palm Beach allow it. So we are tremendously better off than we were before 2018.
does having Westlake in there, does that help or hurt us either way with the?
No, Westlake is a separate drainage basin. They actually,
Prior to them, has anything changed? I mean, before they were there versus now?
the agriculture area was allowed 2 inches per day, and with Westlake, they will be reduced to 1 inch per day. That's 100 and some CFS. They are obligated to give that to somebody else. And as we were sitting in the room with Mr. Carter years ago, he wanted to use that to give to us for negotiating road access. And that, of course, did not fly. But there is an additional amount coming from the 1 inch reduction from Westlake will be available to somebody in the Western community. Well, I did want to make it short. Can you go to the next, 13.3. This will be real short because I just wanted all of you to be aware that we do have the draft of the water control plan for the 640 acre impoundment complete. We are going to change some of the cost figures in there due to increased costs, but it is in draft form right now. And at some time in the near future, when we get a little bit more backup information, we will bring that to the board to allow us to go to the next step, but not tonight. But the graphics, if they can be called up, it gives you the water control plan, and the last page of that water control plan shows you the new drainage area. And I wanted to explain.
Okay.
There we go. All right, this just shows that it's in draft form, and go all the way down to near the end where the graphics start. There you go. This is what was adopted as the original water control plan for the M1 and M2 basins. They weren't separated. They're shown as separate areas, but they were in one water control plan. Go to the next slide. That was the 76 version of the water control plan. The 76 version and the 80s version of the impoundment, if you look on the upper left of that viewing area, the retention area was rectangular. It started from where the existing impoundment is and went all the way out to L8. And as you know, it wasn't built that way. It was built more as a square. You go to the next slide. There we go. These are the areas that change with the new water control plan. The area I just explained, the rectangular goes to the square impoundment. The green will be the added area. The red line over top of the green is the MO outfall canal. It wasn't identified as being in the drainage area, but it is. You can't tax it, but it's in the drainage area. All of Unit 19. Now, these things have been modified in the plan, but they haven't ever been consolidated. So this is an opportunity to consolidate and get it in one picture. All of Unit 19 needs to be added. Unit 23, which is Vintage Oaks, need to be added. Bay Hill was not in the original water control plan. That's M1S, and Rustic Lakes is still by agreement, but it needs to be shown as part of our drainage area. All of the Acreage Community Park areas, including the county park and the school, Acreage Pines Elementary, I believe that one's called, needs to be shown as a part of our drainage area. Although we do not receive revenues from them, it is part of the drainage basin. And the M1 canal outfall down through Royal Palm Beach, we do maintain that as part of the water control plan. So go to the next slide. And I think this is the last one that explains where we're at. If you zoom out a little, you can see the new boundary of the entire drainage area that will be in this, that is in the draft form right now. We talked to the surveyor today and he's preparing the legals to go along with it. So that's the entire update, and just want to let you know we're moving forward. We started the design of the impoundment. We talked to the geotech and signed a contract to get some geotech information. I'm sorry, the surveyor to get it. We already got the geotech information. So we're moving quite well on this. We've also talked to the modeler who will update the modeling to tell us what good this will do for the M1 basin. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them, but
Not at this time.
all right, no actions required.
Yep, no action required. Thank you. Rich, have any questions? I have a couple of questions. We'll talk offline.
That's fine. And we can go to the last one. Is the last month we did mention that the county has updated the stop sign study. There were 10 locations in the original study done by CapTech. One was added at our request. Rich specifically asked for one. So there are 11 analyzed. It's a 45-page report that they prepared. It was based on data, if you see in red on the upper left, of October 7th of 2025. They show the full range of what they looked at in terms of accidents that occurred in the last year, the last 3 years, and then the traffic that is going through the major and the minor parts of the roads. Of the 11, one of them we had already addressed by having that was one of the FDOT grants where it's a circle with a four-way stop in it. So there's 10 left that don't have the four-way stops. Of those 10, 5 they say do meet the warrants. Therefore, since they have said that, we can now go forward, and as long as they're installed for the MUC, municipal manual and uniform traffic control devices. MUC, I have my trouble with that as much as Frank does. We have to install them or place them according to the criteria in there. Now, I look at this as I'm going to take a very positive output. We got half of what we asked for, and hopefully we'll get more in the future. So it's not that we have failed, we have succeeded, and I look forward to getting these. Go to not this there. I had one more slide in there. It was not part of this PDF that shows the map of these locations. It makes a lot. It's not in this PDF. You'll have to exit this PDF. Oh, I don't know who. No, it's a separate. It was a separate drawing. I put it in Granicus as 2 separate PDFs. Oh, you combine them? There you go. I didn't know how that worked. This is the physical location. you can't see the arrows which says yes and no, but if you'll zoom out a little bit. One of the intersections we've talked a lot about is the one at Mandarin and Hamlin. That's the upper left. They said, yes, we can do that. There are some utility boxes there. And the problem with that is when people go over the speed limit, it's not you don't have a safe sight distance. But when they're doing the speed limit, you do. People don't do the speed limit. So now we can have a four-way stop there. The one underneath of it on Mandarin did not qualify under the county analysis, so that's a no. Go to the east a little bit on Hall, you see that all three of the north-south roads have, well, one of them exists, but the other two will get four-way stops. So Hall, the amount of speeding should diminish substantially. On the next road over, was that, that's 140th. It was a no, and a yes, I believe, yes, because it's a red arrow. And it's so, as Rich, we had a conversation, staff did with Rich earlier this week, and the speeding will probably move over, and then we'll probably get qualified for four-way stops there as well. But you can see the north-south direction on the Hall will most likely be tremendously affected. People will probably divert. We'll have one more stop on 140th. So that traffic will probably go up. And on Avocado, we get one more. The two in the lower right-hand side are both no's. So they did not qualify according to the county criteria. If you look at that same diagram, you look at Key Lime going east-west, we have 3 yeses. So that speed will go down tremendously. The next road up is Temple. We get 1 yes and 1 no, so it'll be affected, but not as much. And the next road up, Valencia, has the same situation, 1 yes and 1 no. So the east-west is affected, but not completely changed. And that's it. It's a good start, yes.
I got the list here. I mean, it's
You can-
short thing. So what's been approved is Mandarin and Hamlin, Hall and Citrus Grove. Hall and Temple was already done, but that's another discussion there. Hall and Key Lime, 140th and Key Lime, Avocado and Key Lime. So thank you, Jay, for the presentation. And this is a good start. And I feel that this is very important. But I've come to learn a lot of things about this. And when you talk about the manual on the uniform traffic control devices, and there's a very specific portion on stop signs in there. And it really appears to me because, well, let me start off with this. I don't even think 11 four-way stops is enough because there are plenty of intersections that aren't even in this 11 where we've had very serious crashes, trauma alerts, and fatalities. So I do have, and to say one more thing, a member of my family just a week and a half ago was involved in a crash at Citrus Grove and Hall, and somebody blew the stop sign and T-boned them. So when you look at the MUTCD, that manual, it appears to me, I'm not an engineer, but I've spoke to, I'm very close with 2 engineers, that as far as crash warrant data, which can change depending on when the studies are done, that shouldn't be the only reasoning for approving or not approving. And there's a very specific section in the MUTCD, and it's section 2B.17. And it talks about always stop control, warrant E, and other factors. when you look at that and you go down to letter B, it talks about an intersection of two residential neighborhood collector through streets of similar designs and operating characteristics where always stop control would improve traffic operational characteristics of the intersection. That right there, from the engineers that I spoke with, says the county should have signed off on all 11 of these right off the bat. Because crash warrant data is not the do all say all. So I'm very pleased with the 5 that we got, but it's not enough. And I think our most important focus to get going is that area between North Lake, Orange, Coconut, and Seminole Pratt. And that area should be a main focus of ours. And but I'm very pleased with the 5 that we got so far. I have faith that we will be able to work with county engineering and get more, especially if we can bring this to their attention, that this also plays a role in their decision. And I had one more point I wanted to make, but if I think about it, I'll let you know in a second. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. No action is needed, and now we are on reports. Okay.
I'll make the motion to receive and file reports, item 14.1, 14.2, 14.3. 14.3 is there twice. 14.4, so we'll take one of those 14.3s.
I just have 2 14.3s. What do you see? Oh, up here? I don't see it down
Just
here.
making sure.
Yeah, it's
reading it.
different
Yeah,
here.
14.1,
Yeah.
14.2, 14.3, 14.4, 14.5, 14.6, 14.7, 14.8, and 14.9.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.